Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to make sense of the confusing world of corporate filings, and today we have a doozy one that is all about executive compensation and some big changes happening at AMBAC Financial Group Incorporated. Before we dive in, if you like getting the real story behind company reports, make sure you hit subscribe. And hey, we've got a growing Discord community where we break down these filings even further, so check out the link in the description below. Alright, let's get straight into it. This is a Form 8K filing, which is basically a snapshot of important events happening at a company that investors need to know about right away. And today, AMBAC is dropping some pretty significant news about their top brass. The main event here is all about executive employment agreements. Think of it as the company renegotiating the terms of employment for its top leaders. This isn't just about giving them a pat on the back, it is about locking them in with new contracts. And with that comes some juicy details about their pay packages and what happens if they leave. First up, we have Claude LeBlanc, the President and Chief Executive Officer. His new agreement basically continues his role and waives any good reason. Claims, which is a standard way executives can end their contracts without penalty if the company makes significant negative changes. For Mr. LeBlanc, this means a base salary of $900,000 a year, not too shabby. On top of that, he has a target bonus opportunity of 125% of his salary, so potentially over $1 million just in bonus. And for the long term, he is looking at a target annual long-term incentive award, starting in 2026 of a cool $2,650,000. But that is not all. This agreement also details some one-time special awards. He's getting a $900,000 cash award, but it can be forfeited if he is fired for cause or leaves without good reason within the first year. He's also getting restricted stock units, or RSUs, worth $2,100,000 that vest a year after they re-granted. And then there are performance stock options for 500,000 shares. These are a bit more complex, they vest based on him staying for a year. And then on top of that, their actual payout depends on the company's stock price hitting certain targets, like $18, $21.5, $25, and $30 per share. Sustained over a period of time, these options have a 10-year lifespan. Now, what happens if Mr. LeBlanc leaves? If it is due to death or disability, he gets his salary up to that point, any accrued benefits, and a prorated bonus. The really interesting part is that all his unvested stock awards and options would accelerate and become fully vested, which is a pretty nice cushion for his beneficiaries or himself. If he is terminated without cause or resigns for good reason, then things get even more lucrative. He'd get his salary and benefits plus a lump sum payment equal to 2.5 times his base salary plus his target bonus. That is a significant payout. His prorated bonus would be based on target, not actual performance, making it more predictable. And his stock awards would also vest immediately. The company also agrees to provide outplacement services for up to a year and extend his health benefits for 2 years. Things get even sweeter if his termination happens around a change in control, meaning if the company is bought or merged. In that scenario, the lump sum payout jumps to 2.5 times his salary and target bonus, and his prorated bonus is based on target, not actual performance. This is often called a double trigger severance, making executives whole if their jobs are impacted by a deal. Next, let's look at David Trick, the Executive Vice President, Chief Financial Officer, and Treasurer. His deal shares similar structures. His base salary is $600,000, with a target bonus of 70% of his salary. His long-term incentive target is $700,000 starting in 2026. He also gets Special 1, Time Awards, a $600,000 cash award, and Arbors and performance stock options for 350,375 shares. The performance stock options have the same share price hurdles as Mr. LeBlanc, but the number of shares is different. If his employment is terminated without cause or he resigns for good reason, Mr. Trick gets his salary and benefits. He is also entitled to a lump sum payment of 1.5 times his base salary plus his target bonus. His prorated bonus is based on actual performance. And similar to Mr. LeBlanc, his stock awards would vest. The company also provides outplacement services similar to LeBlanc's deal. And again, if there is a change in control, the payout for Mr. Trick increases. The lump sum becomes 2 times his base salary plus target bonus, and his prorated bonus is based on target. His stock awards would also vest. Finally, we have R. Sharon Smith, the Executive Vice President and Group Chief Operating Officer. Her new agreement sets her base salary at $500,000 with a target bonus of 75% of her salary. Her long-term incentive target is $650,000 starting in 2026. She also receives Special 1, time awards, a $500,000 cash award RSAs, and performance stock options for 284,125 shares. Her performance stock options also have the same share price hurdles. For Miss Smith, if she is terminated without cause or resigns for good reason, she LL get her salary and benefits, plus a lump sum payment of 1.5 times her base salary plus her target bonus. Her prorated bonus is based on actual performance. Her stock awards would also vest. And for Miss Smith, in a change in control scenario, her lump sum payout doubles to 2 times her base salary plus target bonus, and her prorated bonus is based on target. Her stock awards would also vest. Now, before we wrap up the executive compensation part, there are a couple of overarching provisions that apply to all these agreements. Severance payments depend on the executive signing a release of claims, basically saying they won, sue the company. They also have to stick to non-compete clauses for 12 months after leaving, and non-solicitation of employees for 24 months. There is also a mutual non-disparagement clause and a cooperation requirement for 60 months. And very importantly, any compensation paid can be clawed back by the company if it falls under their recoupment policy or any applicable laws. This is a common feature to prevent executives from benefiting from misconduct. They also have stock ownership requirements, meaning they have to hold a certain amount of company stock based on their salary. Mr. LeBlanc needs to hold 6 times his base salary, Mr. Trick 3 times, and Miss Smith 2 times. The company also amended their 2024 incentive compensation plan. This basically removes certain limits on how many options, stock appreciation rights, full value awards, and cash incentives can be granted to any one person in a year. The total number of shares that can be granted under the plan remains the same, but this change gives the company more flexibility in how they award equity and cash to their executives. Now, this filing also includes some significant personnel changes. Daniel McGuinness is stepping down as Chief Operating Officer around the 30th of November, and he'll be eligible for severance under his existing agreement. And in a related move, Sharon Smith, whose new employment agreement we just discussed, is being appointed as Executive Vice President and Group Chief Operating Officer. She'll be overseeing operations with Mr. McGuinness until his departure. On the legal side, Stephen M. Kasanak is also resigning as Chief Legal Officer around the 30th of November. He'll also be eligible for severance after he leaves. Lawrence F. Metz, who recently joined as General Counsel, will be taking on Mr. Kasanak's duties. There are also some departures tied to the closing of the sale of AMBAC Assurance Corporation. David Barranco and Robert B. Eisman have left their roles, but they will be moving into positions at AMBAC Assurance Corporation. And on the accounting front, Christina Ahn has been appointed as Chief Accounting Officer. She has been with the company as Controller since May 2024 and has a solid background in accounting. Now, this filing also lists all the exhibits attached, which are essentially the full legal documents for these new employment agreements and the incentive plan amendment. They're referenced here, but the actual text of those agreements are the real meat of the details. Let's look at the overall picture here. AMBA. C is clearly making some significant strategic moves, especially with these executive agreements. They are rewarding their top leaders with substantial compensation packages, including base salary bonuses and significant equity awards, especially performance-based options. This shows the company's commitment to retaining key talent and incentivizing them to drive performance, particularly around key stock price milestones. The severance packages, especially the change in control provisions, suggest the company might be anticipating or at least preparing for potential acquisitions or significant corporate events. This is a common practice to ensure leadership stability during uncertain times. The amendment to the incentive plan also points to greater flexibility in rewarding executives, possibly to attract or retain talent in a competitive market, or to ensure that awards can be tailored precisely to individual contributions. The executive departures, while potentially disruptive, seem to be managed with clear severance packages in place, indicating a structured approach to leadership transitions. The appointment of Sharon Smith to Chief Operating Officer and Christina Ahn to Chief Accounting Officer suggests a focus on internal talent development and continuity in key operational and financial roles. The risks here, as always with executive compensation, revolve around whether these payouts are truly justified by performance. The stock price hurdles for the performance options are significant, and meeting them will be crucial for the long-term incentive to pay off. If the stock doesn't perform, these options will be worthless and the company won't have overpaid for them. The clawback provisions are a good safeguard, but the effectiveness of the recoupment policy will be key. The non-compete and non-solicitation clauses also indicate the company values its intellectual capital and wants to protect itself from former employees poaching clients or staff. In conclusion, AMB. AC is demonstrating a clear strategy to incentivize and retain its executive team through generous compensation and robust severance packages, particularly in situations involving a change of control. The leadership changes seem to be part of a broader restructuring or strategic repositioning. Whether this aggressive compensation strategy translates into sustained shareholder value will depend heavily on the company's future performance and its ability to meet those ambitious stock price targets. Alright, that is our breakdown of AMBAC Financial Group's latest filing. What is your take on these executive agreements and the leadership changes? Do you think the compensation is justified? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives into corporate filings. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.